Morning, everyone. Looks like we have a full house today. That's great. I love the support for the women in history. Today is Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. Time is 9 a.m. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Here.
Richard Valley,
Here.
Doug Verboon,
Here.
Rusty Robinson,
Here.
Robert Thayer.
Real good. At this time, we'll invite Pastor Tyler from Koinonia Church to come up and give us an invocation. Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning. All right, it's with me. Father, we just thank you for this board. We thank you for everyone who is in attendance. And we just thank you, Lord, that it's by you, it's for you. We have all things. So, Father, I pray for peace and protection over this meeting and just clarity as they navigate the business of today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pastor. At this time, Kelly Medeiros, if you're out there, if you could lead us in the flag salute.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we will go on to item A, which is Women's History Month. Administration, Curia, you going to present for us, or is Giselle? Good morning, Giselle.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Giselle Coy, Administrative Analyst, Kings County Administration. Before your board this morning is a request to adopt a resolution recognizing March 2026 as Women's History Month in Kings County. March is widely recognized as Women's History Month, a time to celebrate and acknowledge the profound contributions that women have made throughout history. This observance began in 1980 when President Jimmy Carter declared National Women's History Week and was later expanded by Congress in 1987 to a full month. Women's History Month serves not only to highlight the historical achievements of women, but also to expand the narrative of history by ensuring that their contributions are properly acknowledged and celebrated. This year, Kings County will honor Women's History Month by recognizing women leaders who have made significant contributions within our community across all sectors. The nominees for the recognition were chosen from each district in the county, alongside an honoree selected by the county executive officer. Each woman has demonstrated leadership, resilience, and a commitment to making a difference. The women nominated for the recognition are as follows: Ann Badashi, nominated by Supervisor Joe Nevs, representing District 1. Nicole Valley, nominated by Supervisor Richard Valley, representing District 2. Cindy Kelly, nominated by Supervisor Doug Verboon, representing District 3. Kelly Medeiros, nominated by Supervisor Rusty Robinson, representing District 4, and Emily Carpenter, nominated by Supervisor Robert Thayer, representing District 5, and Sarah Hackard, nominated by the CEO, Kyria Martinez. Each of these women have demonstrated exceptional leadership and commitment to the betterment of Kings County, making a lasting impact on the community. Their work and dedication highlight the essential role that women play in shaping our present and future, highlighting the importance of honoring women's contributions across all sectors of society. Adopting this resolution to recognize March 2026 as Women's History Month in Kings County provides an opportunity to honor these individuals, reflect on the progress made, and the continued work required to ensure that women's history is properly recognized and celebrated both locally and nationally. With that, we can turn our attention to the PowerPoint highlighting our nominees. March is the month where we take a time to look back and honor the many achievements of women through history and the vast strides made by women today. The Women's History takes a new look at all that has gone before and tells the story of a shared past from a different perspective, not rewriting history, but presenting and expanding a version of history that recognizes and honors the accomplishments of women. This year, each of our board members and CEO have selected a recipient to celebrate their commitments throughout our community. Next slide, please. The District 1 honoree is Ann Warmerdam Badashi. We welcome you into the well with Supervisor Nevs at this time. Ann Warmerdam Badashi carries forward a proud agricultural legacy rooted in the Hardwick community. In the early 1900s, her grandfather, William Warmerdam, began farming in the Hardwick area, laying the foundation for what would become generations of family farming. Ann grew up working alongside her three brothers on the family's 16th Avenue farm, beginning at just 5 years old, cutting stone fruit such as apricots and peaches. Today, the same farm remains owned and operated by the Warmerdam family, a testament to their enduring commitment to agriculture. In 1960, Anne married Bob Badashi, and together they continued and expanded their farming tradition. In 1973, Anne and Bob broadened their entrepreneurial vision by purchasing Lamore Hardware, later expanding their business to include Corcoran Hardware and Lamore Furniture. While growing their retail operations, agriculture has always remained at the heart of their work. Building on their raisin crop, they also founded Badashi Family Farms, a gourmet candy company that created a new way to share the fruits of their harvest with families beyond the farm. Throughout her life, Anne Wormerdam Badashi has exemplified dedication, resilience, and a deep commitment to both agriculture and community. Thank you, Anne. At this time, I'd like to invite Supervisor Neves to share a few words about his honoree, and if anyone else would like to add a few remarks, please feel free to come up and join me at the podium.
Talk about that.
Next slide, please. The District 2 honoree is Nicole Valley. We welcome you into the well with Supervisor Valley at this time. Nicole Valley has dedicated nearly 2 decades of service to the people of Kings County through her work at the California Substance Abuse Treatment Facility in Corcoran. For the past 18 years, she's built a respected career with the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, where she currently serves as a correctional case record supervisor. Through her professionalism, resilience, and strong leadership, she helps ensure the integrity of the correctional system while contributing to the safety of her community. Born and raised in Corcoran, Nicole has proudly called the city home since 1979. After graduating from Corcoran High School, she continued her education at the College of the Sequoias, earning an associate's degree in liberal arts. Nicole is deeply devoted to her husband, Richard Valley, and their son, Kobe, and stepson, Richard Valley III. She's been a steady source of encouragement and support to her son as he pursued his educational goals and recently earned his bachelor's degree from Fresno State. Known for her humility and strong sense of dedication, Nicole is someone who often works behind the scenes, supporting her husband and community efforts, showing up wherever she can make a difference. The Women Making History Award honors women who lead with a purpose, uplift others, and leave a lasting mark on their profession and community. Through her years of public service and resilience in a challenging field, her unwavering commitment to Kings County, Nicole Valley exemplifies those values. It is our honor to recognize her today as the Kings County District 2 Women Making History nominee. Thank you, Nicole. At this time, I'd like to invite Supervisor Valley to share a few words about his honoree, and if anyone else would like to add a few remarks, please feel free to come up and join me at the podium. Next slide, please. The District 3 honoree is Cindy Martin Kelly. We welcome you into the well with Supervisor Verboon at this time. Cindy Kelly is a proud third-generation farmer in Kings County, carrying on a legacy that began when her grandparents immigrated from the Azores Islands. After the sudden passing of her father, Frank, in 1966, Cindy inherited the family land, continuing a legacy rooted in agriculture. Cindy married Bill Kelly, building a life together, and as their children reached high school, Cindy felt the pull back to her agricultural heritage. With a passion for gardening and working outdoors, she sought guidance from her uncle, Carl Martin, who encouraged her to learn from the very best walnut growers in the area. Taking his advice to heart, Cindy connected with the Agricultural Extension Office, where Bob Bede patiently mentored and guided her through the early stages of establishing her orchard. Between 1994 and 1996, Cindy planted Chandler walnuts on her Kings County land, later expanding into Tulare in 2000 and 2002. Financing the venture was challenging, but with support of her husband, Bill, she successfully established and grew the operation. In 2009, their son, Matthew, joined the family operation, marking the beginning of the next generation's involvement. Together, the family diversified into almonds and alfalfa, adapting to the evolving agricultural landscape. Today, she continues learning and adapting, embracing both the challenges and rewards of farming. Her story reflects perseverance, faith in family, and a lifelong love for the land she's proud to steward. Thank you, Cindy. At this time, I'd like to invite Supervisor Verboon to share a few words about his honoree, and if anyone else would like to add a few remarks, please feel free to come up and join me at the podium.
Remember that?
Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was probably 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
And as I grew up on a farm. I grew walnuts my entire life. She told a story that her uncle, Carl Martin, told her if she wanted to be a walnut farmer, she needed to talk to people in the industry and learn how to do it. And so she showed up at my house and I was like, who's this crazy lady? And, it's difficult because she brought a lot out of me too, because even though I understand how to grow walnuts from pruning and planting and everything with that and irrigation, you don't know how to explain it. So I had to learn how to explain it to what she understood. She also worked with Bob Beatty. So she brought out the best in me as well. So I appreciate that. It wasn't easy. People come and ask you questions about your secrets. There was times where she come driving in. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have time for this. But she persevered. She's in the industry with all men. We all compete against each other to be the best we can. So you put a ring in there that we weren't used to. And we all want to make sure that, we did just as good as you did, because you did it from scratch. So thank you for doing that.
thank you.
Bob, you want to add anything to it?
Hello, Cindy. I just want to tell you how much we all admired your dedication and your desire to learn, your horticultural passion. And I want you to know, I think Cindy's the only woman that I know of that not only got into the top of a pruning tower, but stayed in the pruning tower the entire day, pruning her own trees. And that is, believe me, a very difficult job for those who do that every day. So we are, again, honored to have you not only as a citizen of Kings County and a generational member of the walnut community, but we take this time to just really thank you for being a person of commitment and passion and dedication to what you love.
Uh, When I was told we're gonna use ag as a theme this year, just first person in my mind, so I called. We deal with Kelly, you deal with a lot here, a lot going on. So I called her sister-in-law and said, hey, what do you think? And they said, that's awesome, that's great. She's pruning trees right now. And so that's not a fun job. And so she's still committed, and she still challenges everybody, and you make us stay on point, so congratulations.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, deserve it.
Next slide, please. The District 4 honoree is Kelly Maderos. We welcome you into the well with Chairman Robinson at this time. Kelly Maderos has been rooted in agriculture her entire life, beginning as a young child farming alongside her father and grandparents on their almond and prune orchards in Orland, California. There, she learned the challenges and rewards of family farming, including fixing sprinklers, driving tractors at harvest, and spending cherished time with her grandmother during almond season. After high school, Kelly attended Cal Poly State University in San Luis Obispo, earning a degree in agricultural business. During her junior year, she interned in the appraisal department at the American Ag Credit, and in 2008, she began her career with Ag West Farm Credit, formerly Farm Credit West. In 2014, Kelly married Brian Maderos and became an integral part of the family farm. She returned home to work on the family dairy in 2015. The same year, she was appointed to the 24A District Agricultural Association Board, where she has served as a president since 2023. In 2017, her family transitioned from dairy farming to orchard and row crops. Today, they farm almonds, alfalfa, corn, cotton, wheat, and occasional tomatoes, with Kelly serving as a controller for the family business. Kelly remains deeply committed to her community, volunteering with 4-H, supporting the Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee of the Kings County Farm Bureau, and actively participating at her children's school. Proud to call Kings County home, she is grateful for the opportunity to serve and help preserve its strong agricultural heritage. Thank you, Kelly.
I couldn't be more honored to speak on behalf of Kelly because Kelly won't speak on behalf of herself. Kelly is wonderful. She is humble, and she is one of the hardest working people that I know, not just in agriculture, but in all facets. I see Kelly all the time. Our kids go to school together, and Kelly's always involved in Mother's Club. I think she does bark spreading too. And to show you, and to show you how humble she is, I believe if you're not now, you were the president of the fair.
I am.
And she did not even list that on her bio, right? She's done everything in farming. She grew up in farming. She drove tractors. I'm surprised that you were able to graduate from Cal Poly. I had two friends that went there that didn't.
Barely.
No, we couldn't be more proud. It's a symbol to everyone, and particularly the fact that she volunteers like she does. She volunteers throughout the community, and we're so grateful. So Kelly, thank you. Congratulations. All right.
And if anyone else would like to add a few remarks, please feel free to come up and join me at the podium.
Teresa?
Good morning, everyone. I happen to be Supervisor Robinson's wife, but a personal friend of Kelly. So I'm extremely honored. I didn't know I was going to speak this morning. I don't want to cry. She is everything that her bio said, and of course, ditto my husband. But I have had the honor and the privilege to personally get to know her over the course of our children being in school together at Hanford Christian. But we've also served on many committees together, and I don't even know if there's even a more humble word than humility, because she's a true servant of God. She loves the Lord first and foremost, her family, and everything that encompasses under that umbrella. She's everything from being organized to literally rolling up her sleeves and doing all the hard work from cleaning, all the things. So I couldn't be more proud for her to receive this award today. When my husband mentioned, I think I'd like to nominate Kelly, I said I wouldn't nominate anybody else. We've also taken care of children together. She is the perfect snack mom for catechism siblings. So also with serving the Lord while our children were receiving biblical education outside of school. And she is an amazing baker. So I don't know how she manages to do all the things that are listed, but she is a super mom and a super wife and a super God servant. So thank you for your love to the community and to our family. God bless you and your business.
Next slide, please. The District 5 honoree is Emily Carpenter. We welcome her mother, Amy Carpenter, into the well with Supervisor Thayer at this time. Emily Carpenter was born and raised in Hanford, and throughout her life, she exemplified courage, resilience, and unwavering faith. She was first diagnosed with cancer at 9 years old and again at 17, facing each battle with determination. In high school, Emily was a 4.0 student enrolled in honors and AP classes. She was a standout athlete and team captain, served as an FFA officer at both the chapter and sectional levels, and was accepted to Cal Poly to major in biomedical engineering. At just 17, during her own cancer battle, Emily founded the nonprofit Golden Positivity, a 501c3 organization dedicated to supporting teens fighting cancer, advocating for awareness, and funding research for new treatments and cures. She traveled to Washington, D.C., working with other nonprofits, and advocated to lobby for increased federal funding in childhood cancer legislation. Through Golden Positivity, she delivered personal positivity packages to teens across Kings County to encourage and uplift them. While battling cancer for the fourth time, Emily was crowned Miss Kings County 2025, using her platform to raise awareness for childhood cancer and promote the mission of Golden Positivity. Emily's physical life was cut short in April of 2025 at 19 years old. Her legacy continues to inspire, uplift, support, and encourage others. Emily's strength, courage, faith, and the impact she had on everyone she met will continue to shine through the work of Golden Positivity and the countless lives she touched. Though her time here was far too short, the light she shared with the world continues to guide others towards hope, kindness, and compassion. This award is being accepted posthumously on behalf of her mother, Amy. Thank you, Amy.
So I had the privilege to meet Emily at a Thursday night marketplace. And my wife and I were scrounging through the courtyard at Civic and came upon Emily, who was telling us about her childhood cancer journey. And me, not being very bright, said, well, later this year, the sheriff's office is going to be wearing pink patches, and I'm going to wear my pink patches in honor of you. And she was like, yeah, it doesn't work that way. Like, childhood cancer is black and gold. And right there at the steps of the Civic Auditorium, Emily gave me an education, and I fell in love with her. And she's just one of those people that just every once in a while, someone comes along in your life that is just impactful. And I knew that when Emily passed, which I'm so sorry, and still the deepest condolences, but that she deserves to be Kings County's Woman of the Year. She's Miss Kings County, and now she's Miss Kings County Woman of the Year for District 5. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And then lastly, and I was talking to Carrie this morning that in September we want to bring back to our board for September being Childhood Cancer Awareness, and we just want to do that again, and our staff can put that together, and we'll be back.
Okay.
Right. All right. Thank you.
And if anyone else would like to add a few remarks, please feel free to come up and join me at the podium.
First of all, thank you for this honor for my granddaughter. I wasn't ready to speak today. Nobody told me. 'Cause I can go on forever. But I won't. Emily, she and I had a special bond in our lives. And it's nothing against my other three grandchildren. I love them just as much as I love Emily, but there was just something special with her. She was the most courageous young lady I have ever seen in my life. Uh, I wear this proudly. This is her Miss Kings County picture. And when she said she was running for Kings County, Miss Kings County, I told her, "You don't have any talent." Uh, and I was thinking of dancing and singing and that sort of thing. But she used the thing that she possessed, that God blessed her with, which was her mouth and her tongue. And I know she's up in heaven right now. I'm positive of that because we went to see her a few days before she passed away. And I asked her mom, this was a Tuesday, and Tuesdays, they usually don't have Mass on Tuesdays. They had a Mass on Tuesday, and I asked Mom, can I go find a priest and have her get the last rites? And I found a priest, and they said it was a Choa, and he happened to be the retired bishop. Imagine that on a Tuesday afternoon at 2:00. And I asked Bishop Ochoa if he would give my granddaughter, the last rites. And he says, without yes. And so he said, you look familiar. And I says, well, I teach at St. Rose McCarthy School. I've been there for quite a while. And he said, you are the one we had lunch with, and you tried to get me to be a Giant fan. And I love the Dodgers. And so Bishop Ochoa came and he gave her the last rites. He heard her confession first, and that lasted quite a while. But he gave her communion, and she received communion, and she's up there right now. I know it because strange things happen to me. And I know that she is comfortable and she is in no more pain. And for that, I am truly grateful. I could give you another story. The last words that I heard her speak to me, I was sitting in her room and she was snoring away. Just snoring, snoring, snoring. And I was sitting there and they snuck their hairless cat up to Valley Children's Hospital. And he stayed for a long time, for about 3-4 days. And I can't stand the cat. If you've ever felt a hairless cat, man, don't do it. Anyhow, he jumped on me and I said, I'm sitting there with my cane and she's snoring away. And I said, Joey, if you jump on me again, I'm going to smack you with my cane. And out of nowhere, and as I said, she was snoring, I hear a voice and it says, Papa, if you touch Joy, you're out of here. And I looked over at her and she's snoring still. And to this day, I don't know what that meant. I knew she would probably smack me, but just things like that where I know she's up there and she's watching me and she's probably going, her famous words was, Papa, you're something else. So again, thank you. I'm sorry for taking up so much of your time, but I had to share those with you. And she was one in a million. So thank you.
Next slide, please. The CEO's honoree is Sarah Hacker. We welcome you into the well with CEO Martinez at this time. Sarah Hacker made history on January 2nd, 2023, when she was sworn in as Kings County's first woman district attorney. Since taking office, she has remained committed to the fair and ethical prosecution of criminal cases, working diligently to uphold public safety and preserve the integrity of the justice system for the community she serves. A graduate of Clovis West High School in Fresno, California, Sarah went on to earn her Bachelor's of Arts degree from the University of California, Santa Barbara in 2001. Following her undergraduate studies, she spent a year working on Capitol Hill, where she served alongside Congressman Eric Cantor, George Radanovich, and Jeff Flake. She then pursued her legal education at Southwestern University School of Law, graduating in the top 20% of her class. Sarah has practiced law in Kings County for more than 17 years. She began her prosecutorial career as a deputy district attorney for Kings County, serving from 2006 to 2015, prosecuting a wide range of serious cases. From 2015 through 2022, Sarah was a partner at Diaz Law Firm, where she expanded her practice to include criminal defense, family law, employment law, real estate matters, and contract disputes. Throughout her career, Sarah has been driven by a deep commitment to protecting the most vulnerable members of the community, including children, elders, individuals with disabilities, women, and animals. As district attorney, she continues to advocate for those who need protection from harm while ensuring that the justice is applied fairly, consistently, and with integrity. Thank you, Sarah.
We have like 50 online who want to hear this. So I actually wrote a few words for you, Sarah. So I've actually gotten to know Sarah since she first got elected. And, in what stands out the most from Sarah is her passion for victims. So in rural counties like ours, a department has to be truly involved in their work, just because, we're a rural county, and she does not shy away from that work. If I need to get a hold of Sarah, I'm always either calling her at 7 in the morning or at 6 o'clock at night, and she always picks up my calls, and we just kind of talk about any issue that the county is facing. But she doesn't shy away from the work. She's always in the courtroom prosecuting the cases, taking a stand for those victims. and giving those victims a voice. So that's why I nominated Sarah Hacker. I also wanted to recognize Sarah for being the first female district attorney in Kings County.
Guys are gonna have to squeeze in a well. Take a knee. You guys gotta squeeze in more than that. Okay. All right, yeah, I have everybody. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and then one more. 1, 2, 3.
And if anyone else would like to add a few remarks, please feel free to come up and join me at the podium.
Good morning. My name is Shanna Meyer. I'm the Victim Witness Coordinator for Kings County. And I just wanted to say, somebody asked me, what is the difference in Kings County? Why are victims more involved? Why do the attorneys seem to care more? And I told them it's from the top down. It's because Sarah cares. She cares about each case that comes into her office. She cares about each victim, and she cares about her staff. So just want to say thank you, Sarah.
I miss that. I have some remarks on behalf of the Rotary Club of Lemoore. Congratulations to Ms. Hacker and all of today's recipients. Women's History Month means something special in Rotary. Women were not allowed to join until the late 1980s. And the first woman in Rotary entered a Rotary Club by using their initials, not necessarily to masquerade as a man, but to get into a club that ultimately led to a Supreme Court decision, which I thought you would appreciate as a practitioner of the law. And Rotarians and women everywhere make an impact in our community. And I just wanted to express our deepest congratulations to you and all of today's honorees. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Bray. I'm the bureau chief for Sarah in the DA's office. I just wanted to tell you that I've been doing this job 40 years, and I came out of retirement to be her chief because I knew her personally before, and I worked in 3 different counties, LA, Riverside, and Ventura. And I've been around a lot of DAs as a prior chief. And I have never seen a prosecutor, a DA, that works as hard as Sarah Hacker. She's in that office early in the morning and at least till 6 o'clock, at least. And I get calls on the weekend. She doesn't go home. And amazingly, she's one of the very few prosecutors, DAs in this, out of the 58 in this state, that are in a courtroom prosecuting murder trials like she is. I'm very impressed with her work ethic and her sincerity and true caring for you guys. She has a local copy shop that I've been to it a couple of times, and she's like a rock star. Everybody knows her, but she really, there you go. But she loves this county, and she really, I'm just honored to be able to work for her. Thank you.
Just wanted to say a couple words. I've had the pleasure of working for Sarah for almost 2 years now, and Sarah is the 3rd district attorney that I've worked for, and I am proud to say that I hope that I can continue my career working straight up the chain with Sarah, because she is someone who inspires the what we call line DAs. She encourages us. The way she leads the office, she encourages us to train. She encourages us to become better. and she's willing to take someone straight out of law school and make them the best prosecutor that they can possibly be. And she takes a personal interest in each and every individual in our office. And she is the first DA that I've worked for that can probably tell you the dog's name of every employee in the office. I truly appreciate Sarah, and she also, so this Women's History Month, she really builds up women, and she never sees that as an obstacle, but as a way forward. And the strength that Sarah has as a woman is really unmatched. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Warres. I'm one of the prosecutors here who works for Sarah, and I just want to say a brief word just because of how great Sarah is. I've been practicing law for about 5 years now. I was a DA in Tulare for a short period of time. I was a public defender in Madera, so I've seen DAs in other counties, and as been mentioned, Sarah, nobody works harder than Sarah. Sarah's the first prosecutor, first DA I've seen to really prosecute cases and still come to court. Sarah, whether it's a DA or anyone in general, I've never seen anyone work harder than Sarah. Every weekend when I come into the office, which is almost every weekend, Sarah's there every time. Sarah, I'm one of those line DAs that was just mentioned. Sarah really does inspire us to work harder and to be better. Because I know no matter how hard I work, Sarah's working harder, and it just inspires me to work harder as well. Sarah's the best boss I've had. As long as Sarah's my DA, I will be a prosecutor here.
I'm gonna hijack this whole thing and because this day is impossible without my mother. No, there is no mix up at the hospital. We don't need a DNA test, we know. But my mom has been by my side from day one. She's believed in me more than anybody has ever believed in me before. And I think she's even more famous in Kings County because during the election, she basically parked it at every single post office in Kings County, advocating for me and believing in me and telling everybody that I'm the right choice for DA. And I just can't thank my mom enough, because without my mom, Kings County would not have elected me, and I would not be able to be in the position I am to give myself 100% to you. So thank you, Mom. Thank you, sir.
Next slide, please. If we can have all the honorees, supervisors, and CEOs step back into the well, please. We'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank Bob Henry with Waste Management at the Kettleman Hills facility and Marianne Rhodes at Gonsalves and Fosso for the donation of flowers for our local women leaders in Kings County. So in conclusion, we respectfully request your board adopt a resolution recognizing March 2026 as Women's History Month in Kings County. Thank you.
No question or comment, I'll move approval.
Okay, one moment. Are there any questions? Any comments from supervisors? Any questions or comments from the audience? All right, Supervisor Verboen made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Supervisor Thayer. Madam Clerk?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Rusty Robinson,
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Yes.
The duck. No, it's my phone, which I just threw in the trash can. Thanks, sir. It's supposed to be off. All right, so let's see. We have an item change now. We're going to go on to we're going to make B1, which is HSA resolution proclaiming March 2026 as Social Worker Appreciation Month. All right, hi, Chris.
Good morning.
morning.
Good morning, Chairman Robinson and members of the board. My name is Christopher Nares, and I have the humble pleasure of serving as the Deputy Director of the Adults Division for the Human Services Agency. It is with great pride and humility that I stand before you today and to ask that the board recognize March 2026 as Social Worker Appreciation Month as well. Quite simply, social work is a profession focused on helping individuals, families, and communities overcome challenges and improve their well-being. Social workers serve as an advocate for their clients and work to connect individuals with resources and support they need. Within the Human Services Agency, we currently have 45 social workers, 13 social worker practitioners, 11 social worker assistants, and 6 social worker interns, each of whom play a pivotal role in assisting members of our community. Their work often takes place behind the scenes, but the difference they make in the lives of individuals and families across our county is profound. At this time, I would like to invite 2 of our program managers, Natasha Endres and Jason Kemp-Vanny, to come to the podium and speak about the respective program areas. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman Robinson, members of the board. Man, tough coming after that last presentation. I wanted to take a moment to share an overview of the Adult Social Services Unit and the important work being done in the Kings County. In 2025, our in-home supportive services social workers completed 2,905 annual reassessments, ensuring that each of these clients can continue safely living in their own homes. Because most of our Kings County recipients are cared for by family, these reassessments not only support client well-being, but also provide a vital source of income for family caregivers who are dedicating their time to taking care of their loved ones. In addition to these reassessments, our team processed 1,455 new IHSS applications. That's phone calls coming in for new IHSS applications. Of those, they approved 869. So that program continues to grow. Our adult protective services social workers also remain very busy, responding to 862 referrals of suspected abuse. APS social workers do far more than investigate. They connect elderly and disabled adults with resources, supports, and services that promote safety, stability, and dignity. Across the division, our team of 20 dedicated social workers work every day to protect and serve the elderly and disabled residents of Kings County. Their commitment to this community is truly remarkable. At this time, I'd like to hand it over to my peer, Natasha, who will share some information about child welfare.
Chairman Robinson, members of the board, my name is Natasha Endres, and I'm a program manager with Child Welfare. So there's many kinds of social workers in Kings County, each bringing unique skills, perspective, and heart to the work that we do. Within child welfare, people often think of the most difficult moments, but a lot of the work our social workers do is really about supporting families and helping them stay together whenever it's safe. So last year, our social workers responded to 1,119 referrals of suspected child abuse and neglect. In 844 of those cases, families didn't need ongoing involvement because social workers were able to step in early, talk through what was going on, and connect parents to the right resources so children could remain safely at home. When more support was needed, the focus was still on family. Because of the persistence and commitment of our staff,
163 children were reunified with their parents last year. And for the children who did need to be placed in outside of the home, approximately half were placed with either family or non-relative extended family members, helping maintain the important connections and stability. I also want to share an example of how our staff support children and families beyond the casework. During Christmas last year, our social workers organized an event where children came and they took pictures with Santa, were given gifts, and were able to take family photos together. Many of these children were in out-of-home placement, and this event gave them the chance to create these meaningful memories with their families, even in the middle of a really difficult circumstance. So that event is just a good example of what our social workers do every day. They don't just respond to crisis, they build relationships and strengthen families and look for ways to create moments of joy, even especially when it matters most. So we do have some social workers here with us today. So to them and to all of our child welfare staff, we want to say thank you. The work you do matters and it has a real impact on our community. For those reasons, we respectfully ask that the board adopt a resolution proclaiming March 2026 as Social Worker Appreciation Month in Kings County. Thank you for recognizing the work that social workers do within our community. So we're happy to answer any questions, and we would also like to take a group photo, if that's okay.
Very good. Thank you, Natasha. First of all, we're grateful for the work that you do. Thank you very much. It's very necessary for the community, and we're grateful. All right. Any questions for Natasha, Jason, Chris? No. Okay. Do we have any questions from the audience? Any comments? All right. I'll entertain a motion. Supervisor Thayer. Supervisor Neves. Madam Clerk.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley, Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Yes.
Very good.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, moving right along to unscheduled appearances. This is an opportunity for for members of the public to address the board on items of interest within the board's jurisdiction and which are not already on the agenda. The board will not answer questions impromptu, or concerns or complaints will be referred to appropriate staff. For items which are on the agenda, members of the public will be provided with an opportunity to address the board as each item is brought up for discussion. Speakers should limit their comments to not more than 2 minutes. Do we have any comments online?
I have no written correspondence. No one online has their hand raised, and I have one speaker card. I'm not sure if you already spoke about Alex C. Walker.
Oh, yes, we know you. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Yes, I'm that same guy from earlier and also speaking on behalf of the Rotary Club of Lemoore. Just wanted to share some exciting updates. And as a respectful reminder, mark your calendars because Saturday, April 11th, is going to be an incredible food drive opportunity that's not only going to benefit the residents of Kings County, but the community as a whole. We're hosting a food drive with Grocery Outlet Lemoore, and it's going to be in partnership with Lemoore Christian Aid, as well as the food pantry at West Hills College Lemoore, which is what I know it, but it's now known as Lemoore College. And this is going to be incredible because not only are we soliciting non-perishable items that you can purchase at Grocery Outlet, but we're also going to be matching dollars up to $5,000. So every dollar you put in, we'll match it up to $5,000. So we'll put in $1 for every dollar that goes in. And it's just really incredible because a lot of people in this county rely on Lemoore Christian Aid for food, from as far as Avenal to as close as Corcoran, Hanford, and even right here in the unincorporated areas of Armona, et cetera. It really is an incredible thing that we do for our community, and it's something that we're really proud to be a part of. And also another thing that Lemoore Rotary is proud to be a part of is sponsoring the lunch with other Rotary clubs for Youth and County Government Day. So we're really excited for that next week. It will be St. Patrick's Day, so make sure you're wearing your green. I'll be sure to tie some in with our blue and gold representing those Rotary colors. But just wanted to extend our appreciation for our board and our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Anybody else? All right. And we'll go on to Madam Council, approval of the minutes, report out of closed session from the regular meeting for March 3rd, 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There was no reportable action taken in closed session.
Okay. Then approval of the minutes from the regular meeting for March 3rd, 2026. Are there any questions? Any comments? Any questions from the audience? No. I'll entertain a motion. Second. Supervisor Verboen, Supervisor Valley. Madam Clerk?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Abstain.
So now we'll move on to the consent calendar. All items listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. If the board member has questions, requests additional information, or wishes to comment on an item, the vote should not be taken until after questions have been addressed or comments made, and the public has had an opportunity to comment on the consent calendar items. Are there any questions on the consent calendar? We've asked to present, Mr. Chair. Okay. Are there any questions from the public? Supervisor Valley has a motion. Do I have a second? Supervisor Verboen. Madam Clerk?
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Okay, so finally the regular calendar and looks like council. So Lori?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The purpose of this agenda item is to delegate authority to county council to procure and contract for outside counsel and attorney personnel investigation services in an amount not to exceed $100,000 per year per contractor pursuant to Kings County purchasing policy. County counsel is occasionally required to contract with outside counsel to perform specialized legal work and attorney personnel investigations. Such specialized legal work and personnel investigations must often occur on short notice, and a competitive bidding process and Board of Supervisors approval would introduce delays that could hinder timely legal responses. This work requires special skills and competencies, which is within the purview of county counsel to evaluate. And as such, we are recommending that your board adopt a resolution delegating authority to county counsel to procure and contract for outside counsel and personnel investigation professional services. I'm available to answer any questions.
Real good. Any questions for Lori? Any questions from the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Supervisor Verboen, do I have a second? Supervisor Thayer, Madam Clerk?
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Okay. Hello, Matt.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Matthew Boyette, Assistant CEO, Kings County Administration. I was before your board last week with the introduction of an amended ordinance that amends Chapter 13 of our County Code of Ordinance related to waste hauling in the unincorporated areas of the county that would alter our current mode of waste hauling from a free market model to a franchise zone model, all in response to the Senate Bill 1383 requirements that the state graciously gave to us. So I'm just back here before your board this morning with the we're no longer doing second readings here, but the adoption of that ordinance. So if the ordinance is adopted today, it will be effective April 9th. And then around that time, I'll also be before your board to bring the actual franchise agreements with the three haulers before your board for final approval. That will then get everything in motion. So that way the ordinance and the agreements are all speaking the same language. So with that, concludes my presentation, and the recommendation before your board is to go ahead and adopt an amended ordinance that alters Chapter 13 of the County Code of Ordinance, County Code of Ordinances related to waste hauling here in Kings County. Thank you.
Matt, do we have any questions for Matt? Do we have any questions from the audience? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
If there's no question or comment, I move approval.
Supervisor Verboen. Supervisor Thayer, Madam Clerk?
Joe Nevs.
No.
Richard Valley is nodded in his chair. Doug Verboen. Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Michelle. Good morning.
Sorry, good morning, Chairman, members of the board. I'm before you this morning to ask for an appropriation for a flagpole project. This project started several years ago with the donation of a flagpole and a plaque by the Ryan family. I'm sure many of you remember them, but they owned Kings Row Ford at the corner of 11th and Lacey and were great community partners, especially in the city of Hanford. So again, this project started several years ago with the donation. The flagpole that they donated, unfortunately, is too tall for us to use in the proposed location because we're within the helipad flight path for Adventist Health. The proposed location of this flagpole that will be a monument to the Ryan family, along with the plaque, will be at the median coming in off of Lacey Boulevard. And so we are requesting an appropriation for this project. Originally, I think the intent was that we could just use county staff to erect the flagpole. Unfortunately, it's going to require engineered footings. The flagpole that they originally donated, like I said, is too tall. So the sheriff's office graciously purchased a new flagpole last year. However, that flagpole is approximately 50 feet tall. So we're going to have to engineer footings and have it erected by a contractor. We're also going to have to ensure that it has the appropriate lighting so the flag stays illuminated at night. And so I'm just here seeking approval of the board for up to $75,000 to complete this project. Until we actually put together the bid package and we have more scope, I won't know exactly how much that will cost, but the intent is that the project cost would come from the general fund contingencies and be transferred into the capital outlay fund.
Very good. Do we have questions, for Michelle? Supervisor Valen?
Mr. Chair, so this just gives authority, right? We're not actually spending the money today.
I believe it's an up to, is that correct?
Yeah, you would be granting authority to spend up to $75,000 to complete this particular project that started several years ago.
And at this point, where are we at?
So we actually engineered footings for the flagpole we can't use. So we are going to have to engineer new footings. We've already purchased the flagpole. I'll have to work with our engineering staff and public works to make sure that we have the whole project scoped, but we're kind of at the beginning.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to respectfully note, Madam CAO, prior to pulling this out of general fund contingencies, maybe note this for the upcoming discussion on the PFA funding, because I think this would be an excellent project underneath that layer of funding. And maybe we can save the general fund. And I'm fine if we have to go general fund contingency. I just wanted to note that as an example of a project underneath that community benefit funding that needs to happen.
Understood. Okay. Do we have any other questions?
No question, comments on this.
Do we have any? Okay, one more. Do we have any questions from the audience or comments? Okay, so Supervisor Verboen made the motion. Supervisor Valley seconded it. All right, Madam Clerk.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley. Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Hello again, Alex.
Hello, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Alex C. Walker, Administrative Analyst, Kings County Administration. Before you this morning is a letter of support in favor of the F-35 aircraft maintenance hangar at Naval Air Station Lemoore. NSA Lemoore has a long history of serving the nation, as well as establishing premier training opportunities for the nation's armed forces. NSA Lemoore is the Navy's only West Coast master jet base and is the largest master jet base in the Navy. NSA Lemoore is home to Commander Strike Fighter Wing Pacific, as well as Commander Joint Strike Fighter Wing, and more than half of the Navy's FA-18EF Super Hornets reside here, as well as the Navy's only installation to house the F-35C Lightning II. The United States Navy has proposed the development of a new Strike Fighter Center of Excellence Pacific at NSA Lemoore, and this initiative involves the construction of a secure facility to house these schools, as well as the establishment of a joint information environment space to support the mission planning and tactical readiness of the institution. And structural facility shortages further highlight the need for this project in our local area. On April 29th, 2025, the Kings County Board of Supervisors approved a letter of support for the proposed development of the new Strike Fighter Center of Excellence Pacific at NSA Lemoore. And for the 2026 federal fiscal year, NSA Lemoore was awarded $55.54 million in funding for the construction of this facility, as well as providing the cutting-edge training facilities that the Navy personnel to safely handle and load ordnance on strike fighter aircraft. Additionally, NSA Lemoore received $33.49 million to specifically support the planning and design of a new F-35 aircraft maintenance hangar, improving operational efficiency and maintenance capacity for the F-35 program. The request before the board is a letter of support for the remaining costs of design of the amount of $16.49 million. The overall project is to construct the additional hangar to an existing hangar, as well as to provide associated airfield payments, taxiways, operational storage, support facilities, support infrastructure, flight line security, fencing, road extensions, as well as a privately owned vehicle parking lot for F-35 fleet operational squadrons. If this request is not fully funded, it is anticipated there will be negative operational impacts imposed on flight, maintenance, and training operations. Before the board is a letter of support for the proposed development of the F-35 aircraft maintenance hangar, and it's directly connected to the new Strike Force Center of Excellence Pacific at NSA Lemoore. This action will continue the historic legacy of NSA Lemoore's important role in serving the nation, as well as provide the necessary investments that support national security. This investment will help ensure that the United States Navy's premier strike fighters have the necessary resources to maintain combat readiness and operational superiority. And at this time, we respectfully ask your board to authorize the chairman to sign a letter of support in favor of the F-35 aircraft maintenance hangar at Naval Air Station Lemoore. I'm available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Any questions for Alex?
I just say this is a great opportunity and we should do everything we can to support it. Reading in here that's not only going to housing another squadron, but also a school. And that's a big deal, Mr. Chair, because what that means is, for example, when I graduated Marine Corps boot camp, the job that was assigned for me in the Marine Corps, this only school to do it was in Memphis, or Millington, Tennessee. So that's funneling all of these young military men and women to the community of Lemoore for training before they go out for service in the fleet worldwide. And to break that down, that just means more paychecks that are here in the County of Kings, and then military members spending money, adding to our economy. And that's another strong reason besides the obvious of supporting our nation's military. In spite of the letter, I'd find out when there is if there is some kind of panel that's convening. If this is competitive funding, then I think that's worthy of someone like Supervisor Boone, who's known in DC, to go back and give testimony before a panel like this, so we can put our money where our mouth is, besides more than the letter. And then with that, Mr. Chair, I make that motion.
Very good. Do I have any other questions before we move on? Do we have any questions from the audience? All right, Supervisor Valley has a motion. Do I have a second? Supervisor Boone, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley, Doug Verboon, Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Yes.
Thank you, Alex. You
Yes,
also
sir.
next?
Yes, sir. The next item before you this morning are letters of support for 3 earmark projects submitted by Adventus Health, who has requested the county's support. Adventus Health is a nonprofit integrated health system with approximately 480 clinics and hospitals across the West Coast and Hawaii. The city of Hanford is home to an Adventus Health hospital, providing care to those in and around Kings County and the greater Central Valley. In the House, earmarks are known as community project funding requests, while in the Senate, they're known as congressionally directed spending items. Under the current rules, members of Congress may only seek earmarked funds for projects that are sponsored by states, local governments, or nonprofit organizations. Due to the large number of public entities and nonprofits within any given congressional district or state, the earmarking process remains highly competitive. Members of Congress are typically only able to submit House and Senate Appropriations Committees a very small percentage of the project requests that they receive. And moreover, once a project is submitted, only the most well-developed and meritorious projects are ultimately funded in the federal budget. The county approved its earmark request on February 17th, 2026. The board should be aware that the county's projects may potentially compete with Adventus Health's requests. However, this does not preclude the county from issuing letters of support. Adventus Health's requests are as follows. The first request is an expansion of the Associate of Science in Nursing ASN program in partnership with Pacific Union College. This aims to create a sustainable pipeline of registered nurses prepared to serve residents throughout Kings, Tulare, and surrounding counties. The expansion will specifically support 2 cohorts of 18 nursing students, along with laboratory simulation and clinical training within Adventist Health facilities across the region. Furthermore, this request aims to deliver accredited nursing education locally in the city of Hanford. Per the request of Adventist Health, the draft letter of support is specifically addressed to Congressman David Valdeo with an unspecified funding amount. The second request from Adventist Health is Adventist Health's Learning and Understanding New Careers in Healthcare, known as the LAUNCH program. The LAUNCH program is a 3-tiered model that focuses on career exploration, skill development, and clinical immersion, and provides participants with hands-on experience, mentorship, and direct exposure to a wide range of healthcare professions. Per the request of Adventist Health, the draft letter of support is specifically addressed to Jason Wells, Adventist Health Network President, with an unspecified funding amount. And the third and final request from Adventist Health is for 1.105151 million for Adventist Health's Healthcare Workforce Rural Remote Telesimulation Learning Initiative. This project aims to centralize telesimulation hub in Roseville, California, to deliver a high-fidelity, real-time clinical training in remote and rural clinics and hospitals. The pilot phase will connect Roseville Simulation Center with Adventist Health sites in Delano, which is located in Kern County, as well as Hanford, which is in Kings County. The project overall expands telesimulation capacity, strengthening the rural healthcare workforce, and improves maternal and clinical outcomes in addition to reducing training inequities in underserved communities. If approved by the board, the staff will send the approved letters of support to Adventist Health for distribution. At this time, we respectfully ask your board to authorize the chairman to sign letters of support for 3 earmarked projects submitted by Adventist Health, addressed to Representatives David Valdeo, Lawson Stewart, and Jason Wells. I'm available to answer any questions you may have, and thank you for your time.
Have any questions for Alex? Any comments? Any from the audience? Yeah, I think that's particularly on the nursing front. There's been a shortage of nurses for years, and this helps to address that. Also, the competing feature I don't see as much of a competing feature, because a lot of times when you talk to the legislature about these things, they're looking for certain things, certain years. So, yes, it possibly could be competitive, but I think for the most part, I'd like to be supportive, if we could, to Adventist Health. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Supervisor Verboen. Supervisor Thayer, Madam Clerk.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
All right.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Yes.
And you're still here.
I'm still here. And the next and final item that I have before you this morning is a recommendation for the county to co-sponsor Senate Bill 1289 with Waste Management Incorporated due to the significant impact this bill will have on the county and the benefits it will promote statewide. On February 20th, 2026, California State Senator Melissa Hurtado, Senate District 16, introduced SB 1289, which aims to address hazardous waste in California via proposed legislation around existing state regulations. The hazardous waste classification process in California uses both federal and state laws and regulations. In California, federally regulated hazardous waste is referred to RCRA, referring to the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. In California, only hazardous waste is referred to as non-RCRA hazardous waste. Generally, the waste is considered hazardous if it either is listed as hazardous waste or if it demonstrates a characteristic of hazardous waste, such as its ignitability, corrosivity, reactivity, and toxicity. There are 2 operating hazardous waste facilities in the state of California. The first is the Kellerman Hills facility, located near Kellerman City, Kings County, and the Kellerman Hills facility has been operating since 1979 and has a hazardous waste facility permit with the California Department of Toxic Substances Control, DTSC, that was issued in 2003. The Kellerman Hills facility is the only facility within the entire state allowed to dispose of polychlorinated biphenyls, known as PCBs, which is permitted by the United States Environmental Protection Agency. The second is the Clean Harbors Buttonwillow facility, located near Buttonwillow in Kern County. This facility has been operating since 1982 and has its hazardous waste facility permit with DTSC, which was issued in 1996. In 2023, businesses and government agencies were found to be disposing of contaminated soil and other hazardous waste outside of state facilities with weaker regulations, oversight, and environmental safety standards that of the California's 2 hazardous waste facilities. Specifically, DTSC was disposing waste out of state due to the cost of disposing waste within the state. Despite the access to 2 safe and compliant hazardous waste facilities in California, state and other actors within California are shipping waste out of state. Furthermore, the regulations that drive costs to dispose of waste in state continue. The continued trend has a direct impact on both the county and the state as a whole. For the county, this trend directly impacts the local economy and community in several ways, with the most notable impacts being the hazardous waste tax revenue generated for the county. Revenues from the Kettleman Hills facility directly support improvements for the unincorporated community of Kettleman City and other county funds. Specifically, the county makes a sustained contribution of $150,000 to the established trust and reserve for the Kettleman City Water Infrastructure Project Fund. Additionally, $100,000 is made to the road fund for Kettleman City's drainage project, creating funds for curb, gutter, and sidewalk improvements. This is in direct response to the action taken by the board on June 10th, 2025, where it approved a consultant services agreement with Mark Thomas and Company Incorporated to prepare the plan specifications and estimate package for the Kettleman City infrastructure project. The total amount of the consultant services agreement is $1,531,323, with $1 million coming from the county's annual hazardous waste contributions to the road fund being used for these design services. It is estimated that the engineering services are approximately 10% of the overall construction costs. Thus, a total construction cost of roughly $15 million is anticipated for this project. As of fiscal year 2024-2025, the county has contributed a total of $1.1 million of its hazardous waste revenue to support curb, gutter, and sidewalk projects for the unincorporated community of Kettleman City. Apart from Kettleman City directly, the county also contributes $650,000 of hazardous waste tax revenue to the county's accumulative capital outlay fund, as well as $500,000 to the county's fire fund. It is clear that if this tax revenue were not sustainable, it will have a direct consequences to several county funds, projects, and priorities. The other facet of this trend is that it may negatively impact economic development and jobs for Kings County and Kettleman City in particular. Kettleman City is regarded by the state of California and the United States federal government as a disadvantaged community by several measures, including Cal EnviroScreen 4.0 with a score of 92, as well as the Climate and Economic Justice Screening Tool, to name a few. What this means is that there are measurable inequities and impacts within this community, such as on economic development, health, and more. Per the United States Census Bureau, the median household income in Kettleman City is $47,743, while it's $100,149 in California as a whole. The Kettleman Hills facility is a major contributor to the Kettleman City and Kings County economy, as well as an active civic partner for the betterment of Kettleman City. Specifically, the facility creates nearly 90 full-time jobs that provide good wages and health and retirement benefits for local employees. The Kettleman Hills facility also generates approximately $17.5 million in economic activity for local businesses, such as the supplies and materials needed for its operations. Apart from the county's hazardous waste tax, the Kettleman Hills facility provides ongoing support to various Kettleman City groups and institutions, such as schools and community events, such as the Kettleman Annual Public Safety Event, as well as more events. For the state, this trend impacts the generators of hazardous waste, as well as the environment as a whole. Continued out-of-state shipping of hazardous waste to substandard facilities could increase costs in the long run, specifically by impacting the viability of California's 2 facilities and remove competition within the marketplace. In regard to the waste itself, it is improper disposal may create serious risks to both human and environmental health and safety. The aim of SB 1289 is to require that hazardous waste destined for landfill disposal shall only be disposed of at a RCRA landfill, helping to ensure hazardous waste goes to a hazardous waste facility that meets the environmental standards of both the state and federal government, opposed to being shipped out of state to a substandard facility. This will create both clear environmental, safety, and economic benefits. Without this bill, hazardous waste will likely to continue to be shipped out of state to substandard facilities, creating risks for both human health and the environment, as well as significantly impacting the local economy. It should be noted for the board's consideration that SB 1289 is still in its early draft stages. If approved by the board, the county will participate in SB 1289's drafting, advocacy, and other facets of the legislative process. This includes testifying in Sacramento before the California State Legislature, stakeholder meetings, as well as community engagement, to name a few. With State Senator Melissa Hurtado representing Senate District 16 and the clear direct impact of the bill to Kings County, the county is best positioned to co-sponsor and speak on the impacts of passing and not passing SB 1289. The county's state lobbyists, Shaw, Yoder, Antwish, Schmelzer, and Lang, will support the county in advocating for SB 1289. I do want to acknowledge for the board that Waste Management is in the audience today, and at this time, we respectfully ask your board to authorize the county to co-sponsor Senate Bill 1289 with Waste Management Incorporated. I'm available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Get a breath yet, Alex? All right. Do we have any questions for Alex?
Mr. Chairman, I would just say, also along with Mr. Bob Henry, who may have some comments. I have a number of folks from my district here today, and I'd ask that we could hear their comments before any motions are made as well.
Very good. Yep, we'll allow for that. Any other questions before folks come up? Yeah. Any questions from the audience? All right. Come on up. I have a question for you, Bob, real quick. You're coming up anyway.
Okay.
In our conversations, you told me the environmental community was supportive of this. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yes, sir. What you're looking at is, yes, there's economic impact to the county if we were to close, if the facility was to close. What this bill is about is to have materials that are generated in the state, non-RCRA hazardous waste, be disposed of in a chemical landfill, so a hazardous waste landfill. So what we're looking at is in conjunction with all the economic impact, what you're looking at is worker safety and environmental safety. What we're trying to do is make sure state of California deem that material to be hazardous, needs to be managed in a hazardous waste landfill. And that's all we're asking, that if it is hazardous by the state definition, that it goes into a hazardous waste landfill, either the Kettleman Hills facility, the Buttonwillow facility, or it could go out of state to a hazardous waste landfill. What we're not wanting to see happen is if the state of California deems it to be hazardous, that it can go to something substandard to a subtitle C or hazardous waste landfill. You're going to have worker protection that way. They'll be wearing respirators. They'll be wearing Tyveks, things like that to protect them. Also, then you'll have environmental protection based on having multiple liner systems, and also the management of that waste as far as acceptance criteria, manifesting it on the highway correctly, and then ultimately disposing of it correctly. So yes, there's economic impact to the Kettleman Hills facility, but there's also impact to the workers. There's also impact to the community that those facilities are located. You'll go across state lines. Some states it would go into a subtitle C or hazardous waste. Sometimes it might go into subtitle D, municipal solid waste landfill, or something even less. So you don't want to have this material going into a subtitle D landfill out of state and dumping this material, and adjacent to that, having mom and pop dumping material out of their pickup and having people wait in this type material. It's hazardous in the state. Let's take responsibility for that. Have that material go to a subtitle C in state, have it go to a subtitle C out of state. So as far as your question about environmental justice and supporting this, McGill is here from a local environmental justice organization. So I'd like for you to hear from him.
I'd like to hear from Mr. Chair. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, when you say landfill subtitle D, is that the same classification as the landfill in Avenel?
Avenel is a class 3. I don't know if it's obtained a subtitle D category or characteristic. I don't believe it has. So you have subtitle C for hazardous, subtitle D, MSW, and their specifications, minimum technology requirements you got to meet to become a C or a D. You also have class 1s, 2s, and 3s. Class 3 would be for MSW. Class 2, materials that threatens waters of the state. Class 1 would be a hazardous waste landfill.
The point I was trying to connect to is when you mentioned that without the ability for this type of waste to go to a secure facility, it would go to a regular landfill where folks would be there and protected, bringing their waste and being closer to that in other states. I know in California, that's not the case, but if that's the point you were trying to make. If that's the case.
Right. In California, it needs to go to Has landfill. We're saying what the bill is going to say is that if you generate material that's hazardous in the state of California, non-RCRA hazardous waste, it needs to go to a hazardous landfill, subtitle C landfill. What is allowed right now, it can go out of state and go into a municipal solid waste landfill, subtitle D, and where you don't have the same worker protection and environmental protections. So take responsibility for the materials we generate and make sure they're going, if we say in the state that it needs to go to a Has landfill, that's where it needs to go.
Well, I want to thank you for calling me up a couple of weeks ago and giving me information on this, the need for this legislation. I know I asked you a lot of questions, but one of the questions that, and you did give me a lot of specifics. So again, thank you. One of the questions that I keep forgetting to ask you is staff outlined very well, by the way, what the county's done with these fundings from the hazardous waste tax revenue out of the waste management facility. Does this waste that we're talking about today, does it fall under that category where it receives a hazardous waste tax, or is this waste that doesn't fall under that category?
It falls under it. So when you have non-RCRA material, it's California, they call it California hazardous non-RCRA waste. So it doesn't fall under the federal standard, but it falls under the state. And the state's calling it a hazardous waste, and we pay the 10% revenue tax on that.
Okay, that's what I need.
This is on your funds.
Okay, very good. Miguel, would you like to come up and speak?
Thank you so much, Chairperson, honorable members of the board. So today, I come as an individual from Kettleman City, as someone that's been doing this work for a long time, and I do have a concern about today. So I reviewed the agenda packet for this meeting before, and the language for SB 1289 had not been publicly released. I will admit that wonderful Christine here just provided me that language, and so I do have some work to do in reading it. But as I read the packet, I was a little bit taken aback that we're being asked to take a position on a bill that a lot of people in Kettleman City have not had the chance to see or read or hear about. And so I'm not here to support or oppose the bill in this moment, but I am here to ask that the board maybe wait till we have a better opportunity to brief the Kettleman City public about what this bill entails and how it can affect us. So that's what I asked of the supervisors in this moment. But you will hear from my colleagues and people that also live in Kettleman City that also have their own questions, comments, or concerns. So that's mine at this time, as I feel like we need some more time to discover the pros and cons of this bill as people that come from Kettleman City. And thank you very much for this moment to speak.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may respond, just to provide some clarifying context. The reason why the bill text is not fully released yet, as I mentioned in my staff report, it is still in its very early draft stages. And before the bill can be publicly introduced, the bill author will require sponsors for the bill to be listed, which is why we're before you this morning to get that authorization so we can be listed as a co-sponsor. Following today's action, if your board does approve this action, we'll be listed as a co-sponsor to the bill with Waste Management. And then at that time, at a later date, probably as soon as this week, if not in the very near future, the Senator's office will be publishing that bill text in accordance with the policies and procedures of the California State Legislature.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Real good.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you, Miguel, for coming down, and thanks for serving on our as my District 2 rep on the Kings County Planning Commission.
Of course.
And that's why your voice is important in all aspects and categories of county business. So thank you. I know when you and I talked about this, for full transparency, again, Senator Hurtado disagreed to carry this legislation probably 10 days ago. And so a lot of things are moving quick, and again, the procedure for getting the language of the bill out. But when we talked, you shared with me that you were aware of the ideology of this bill long before me. You heard about it months ago. I just heard about this about 2.5 weeks ago. But so that being said, now that you've been able to see some language, is there anything in that language that goes against what was shared with you early on? Because that's important to me too.
Yeah, you know what? To be, transparent with you guys, I have not read the full bill. I was literally just sent it right now, like 5 minutes ago. And so I can't say if anything pops out at this moment. What I can say is I'm really thankful for all the supervisors for taking the rural areas so seriously and unincorporated Kettleman City. And thank you very much for listening to our concerns and always hearing us out.
And okay, so thank you for that. Let's me and you do this though too. Let's me you, because you helped out tremendously with the town hall that I had in December. Let's hit hyper speed on this, and let's call one in Kettleman very quickly. I'd like to ask you to help me lead that. Let's get the community in there. The board may decide to move forward today just because of the ask to Senator her to carry it. And if she needs a sponsor, she needs a sponsor. But again, as she shared with me, this is by no ways a slam dunk bill. This is going to be, she's going to take some hits. Is when you and I talked, the county, we're going to take hits, even if locally you need those, not as an organization, but individually was able to be supportive and not in opposition of this bill. It doesn't mean that other organizations from out of the area aren't going to come here, because the nail standing up is a nail that's going to get hit, and we're going to take some hits on this. But so is the senator, and I think that's why it's important if the board decides to move forward today. But I absolutely agree with you, and that's why I called you as soon as I saw that this was on agenda, to let you know and give you the opportunity, anybody else the opportunity to come here and speak. So let's see how quick we can do this, man.
Yeah.
See if we can get this done by next Friday.
I'm very honored, and I'm honored to have the county support, and Unidos would be happy to get, a quickest turnaround as we can get 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever we need to get our community informed. Consider us there and consider us an active partner. So thank you very much. And I'll hand the mic over to the rest of
Thank you
folks.
for that. And let's work with Senator Tyler's staff to see,
Even
if we have to do this on a Thursday evening, when she
Yeah.
gets out of the Capitol, let's see if she can.
Let's do it
as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Miguel. Next speaker.
Good morning. My name is Brian Cadena. I'm here as an individual. Before this board takes any position on SB 1289, I want to ask one simple question. Has the community of Kettleman City been consulted? And thank you for your comment, Richard. Consulted, not notified, not briefed after a discussion, actually consulted, given the information, the time, and the opportunity to say what they want. Kettleman City is the community most directly affected by whatever decision by whatever direction this bill takes. The residents living there are the ones who would experience the consequences whether this bill passes or does not pass. They deserve a say before this board acts. I am not supporting or opposing this bill today. I am asking that the community be part of this decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Giovanni, and I'm speaking as an individual from Kettleman City. I want to talk about health, specifically the health of the people of Kettleman City. Kettleman City already carries a significant burden from the Kettleman Hills facility. Residents live with pollution, health risks, and economic impacts that other parts of the county do not face. Any decision this board makes about SB 1289, whether to support it or not, will affect those residents first and most. Their health must not be an afterthought. I'm not asking this board to take a side today. I am asking that before any position is taken, community health is centered in the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, ma'am. You can adjust. Yeah.
Kind of short.
Me too.
Good morning, everyone.
My name is Guadalupe La Torre. I'm from Kerman City. I want this board to sit with this difficult decision. If SB 1289 is supported, more hazardous waste would come to Kerman City and Button Willow. There is no easy answer. That is actually why this decision cannot be made without a full picture. The bill's language has not been publicly released. The community of Kerman City has not been asked and critical questions like how much more waste the facility could take and how that would affect its closure and timeline have not been answered. I am not taking a side today. I'm asking for a better process for this decision is made. And thank you everyone for hearing me out today.
Thank you. Morning, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. Another short one.
Yeah, I guess the Lord.
No, that's okay. I think. Oh, there you go. That's better. Okay, once again, good morning, everyone. My name is Angela Borrayo and I come from Kettleman City. We already bear the burdens of pollution, health impacts, and risks from the Kettleman City faculty hills. And yet community sees very little in return. The overwhelming majority of funds from the hazardous waste tax goes to projects outside of Kettleman City. If this bill changes the amount of hazardous waste coming into the faculty, I want to know the residents of Kettleman City have a fair share of the benefits, and how will the community's health and quality of life be protected? I am here not to support it or oppose it, the SB 1289, but I am asking this board to please ensure the impacts of benefits for the Kettleman City clearly understood and addressed before any position is taken. And once again, thank you for hearing us. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Alexis. I am from Kettleman City. I am speaking as an individual. I am here because decisions about my community affect me and my people I care about. I have a few concerns about SB 1289. First, no one has asked the people from Kettleman City what they want. That should happen before this board takes any position. Second, our community health matters. Kettleman City already deals with a lot from the facility nearby. Any decision about this bill should take that seriously. Sorry. Third, the word of this bill has not been shared with the public yet. I think the board should wait until everybody could read. And I'm not saying yes or no to this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Miguel, coming back?
I'm coming back one more time just to clarify, and I'd like to ask, what Kings County thinks, but we believe in having, good neighbors with our facility, and so we do want to proceed with this community forum and also invite Waste Management to also be a part of it as they're of course a co-sponsor of the bill, and so hoping that we can all, the three of us, have a conversation with the community as quickly as we can. So I just wanted to add that to it.
Good. Bob?
I will go back up. Back and forth. Volumes. Right now, about 48% of the non-RCRA hazardous waste produced or made in California goes out of state. Okay. If you look at what the Kettleman Hills facility, when we did our last permit modification, we looked at upwards to 400 trucks a day coming in. So the volumes that we would potentially either just keep, I'm just hoping to keep my volume, or if we were to get a little bit more, it would still be under that maximum that we're allowed, that we were, the air was analyzed for, the groundwater, everything on the environmental program was looked at. So we're going to be under that total. That's all we're allowed to bring in. Between Kettleman and Button Willow, we'll have enough to handle the state's needs. So it's really not gonna, people are concerned about their health. Mine too. I'm right there in it. So what we're looking at is we've analyzed it for health impacts, environmental impacts, and we're going to be under those numbers. Okay. So I'm happy to meet with the community. McGill and I will set it up. We'll have a meeting. I'll be able to go down and answer questions. I'm there all the time, guys, ladies. Tonight we have so we have meetings. I have no problem explaining it to the community. So we do need to have, there is a sense of urgency, but I just want you guys, that. So
Supervisor Bell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bob, what is that deadline? And if you don't know, maybe Senator Hurtado's staff knows the deadline for sponsorship for the bill.
Hi, I'm Christine Wolf. I'm the Director of Government Affairs for Waste Management. So thanks so much for having this discussion today. And I can explain a little bit about the process, although I think Alex did a really good job explaining. So right now, what's in print, it's called the spot bill. While we work on the language, which is something that all of the co-sponsors and the supporters will do together. So that's something where we'll develop the language together. And then the first version of the bill will be introduced by the end of March. That's the deadline for having the bill language in print. And then it will go through committees, potentially get further amended and have all those conversations. So certainly having all of the co-sponsors identified to sort of draft and craft that first version of the bill is really important. And that's where we are right now, working towards the end of the month.
Let me ask you that based on the end of March, the board would meet next Tuesday and the 24th. The 31st is a Tuesday, but that's the end of March. Would it be too much of a burden if the board tabled this till the 24th, and that'd give us an opportunity to go hold this town hall in Kettleman City? And the reason why I asked, Mr. Chair, because I'm be 1000% transparent here, because this is important. I would never ask anyone to support a bill that they haven't seen, and I haven't seen the bill. Okay, I do, because I do understand that that it is a spot bill, and I do understand that this is something that's taken a long time. Senator Hurtado didn't agree to do this legislation out the gate. Okay, this is something that has been in the Capitol building for a while, for a few months, and that's why Miguel was able to get some information on it. Is my mic cutting on? Oh, we can hear you. Get some information on this idea of this bill long before I did. And so the reason why I can say that I've been supportive till now is because of what was relayed to me. And I want to relay to me what was in public, because if it changes, I'm not going to be happy. Mr. Henry, what he has shared with me was very simply that this is waste that is already coming to Kettleman City. This is not going to be a new round of waste that is going to provide any additional impacts to the community of Kettleman City. So that was important for me to hear. Two, that this waste is currently leaving the state of California to go to landfills, as he mentioned, that have a lower disregard for the environment, and that we could probably have some type of support from local environmental groups due to that fact. Because if we're going to care about the environment, we just don't care about the environment in Kettleman City. We care about our fellow human beings in other states of this country. And this bill would be an opportunity to ensure a safer disposal of this waste versus going to another state and dumping it in a community like Kettleman or another disadvantaged community in another state that has a lower environmental standard. And so that we could shape it that way. As far as money, I didn't know that this was waste that fell under the hazardous waste tax revenue, but thank you for pointing that out. I want those that are here today, and I'll say this at the town hall too. If it was about money, I wouldn't be supportive of it. I wouldn't be supportive of this bill today. But if this was during my first 7 years as a county supervisor, to my first 7 years as a county supervisor, I couldn't get one penny from the county of this funding to go back to the community. But as I sit with my colleagues here today, as mentioned, they've been extremely supportive of this funding turning around, and as it comes in, going back to Kettleman City. And the biggest display of that was last year when this board approved for staff to not only go get the engineering for curb, gutter, and sidewalks for all of Kettleman City, but also to go and put together a funding package, even if it's a loan and the county goes in debt to build out this curb, gutter, and sidewalk in Kettleman City. We went in debt on that loan that we would use revenues. One of the things that I brought to the board years ago was $100,000 a year of this money, and we labeled a new budget line item, the Kettleman City Infrastructure Fund, for curb, gutter, and sidewalks, and that we could use that $100,000 to make the payment on the loan, as you heard, could be up to $15 million to beautify that community. On top of the other things that we've been doing, the $3 million for the Kettleman Water Treatment Plant comes out of that money. And anyone who's here has seen over the years that members from the Kettleman City, what's the right board, Bob? There's a couple of the ones that come here, foundation to come get the money, that receives the money. They've been asking for more money the last few years than what is scheduled for them to receive because the costs of just doing business. But this is monies that that comes out of Kettleman and have been asked for to be reinvested. So as you have that water treatment plant and the filters, the membranes, the chemicals, hopefully an employee that is working that water treatment plant, that this is not coming out of the pockets of Kettleman City, which is not the case in Lemoore, Armona, Corcoran, where we're paying the water bill to take care of all of that. And so, again, I don't want to make this about funding, but that is part of this. If Waste Management closes its stores, we'll lose this funding as well, and it's a funding that's being invested back in the community. That's as simple as I could put it. And if you don't want the funding, then that means that if you don't want Waste Management that bad, then that would mean in reality that we lose this funding too. I know my board members aren't going to give me $15 million out of the general fund for curb, gutter, and sidewalk, right, Supervisor? That's not even there. That'll be a hard no. My motion would die for the lack of a second. So the point I'm trying to make, I think, and Miguel was too, that as everyone's being open-minded, we need to see the details of the language. That's the only fairest thing to do. But I don't want to put this on Senator Hurtado. I want to also point out when Bob called me, Mr. Henry called me, and I think Super Boone was contacted as well too. But we were asked to call Senator Hurtado to ask her to carry this. I was told that if it wasn't for Senator Hurtado, there could be an outside legislator carrying this bill. It could be someone from LA that we don't know, and I wouldn't be comfortable with that because I would wonder what's influencing some outside senator that doesn't cover Buttonwillow or Kettleman City to be supportive of this. What are the devil in the details? So for Senator Hurtado to take the phone call and consider this very quickly and turn around and meet the deadline for introducing legislation, one that's important for a number of reasons, including the jobs out of Kettleman City as well. And so I'm going to put that there. I don't want to dump this on the senator. I don't want to dump this on Miguel and the community of Kettleman City. And but I want to be very, very transparent here on here. Thank you.
CEO Martinez.
I just wanted to make a recommendation to go ahead and hold the town hall. However, proceed with the recommendation today, just because the bill, they need to know if the bill is going to be introduced or not. I think Victor was going to kind of share same sentiments.
Victor.
Victor Charterine, Office of Senator Melissa Hurtado. I reached out to our legislative director, and she is requesting that we continue with the vote today of the sponsorship, so we can work in collaboration to get the final bill ready by the March deadline. And so we understand the need for community input, and the senator will always consider that when crafting the bill. But we want to get this close to the finish line, and bill sponsorship is very important right now.
You reached out right now while you were hearing the discussion.
Yes, sir.
Possibly tabling this.
Yes, sir.
So I think then that would only be fair to the senators for, again, not us stumping this workload on her, then walking away. If we're asking her to carry the bill, then I think we have to stand there with her as a co-sponsor. But I think we all know sponsoring a bill today doesn't mean that the bill passes and it's on the governor's desk and it's a reality. There's going to be a long way to go. And so I don't want to disrespect the community that I represent and are voting on something like this early on. But I think that with Miguel's help and Unita's help, we could explain to the community the process and still everyone have the opportunity to give input. And my commitment too would be is if we get called upon to go to Sacramento to give testimony, that anyone who's in favor can catch a ride with me, and anyone who's in opposition can catch a ride with me to Sacramento as well. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other comments? All right. Yes, sir. Miguel.
My very last comment
Okay.
is I was looking at the calendar, and we can turn around something by the 20th, this Friday. And I do, acknowledge that if the board has to make a decision, it is what it is, but we can still get the word out to residents in time to have a forum, I don't know, between either the 18th, 19th, or 20th. So if that's something that the county and the county staff can do, we're more than happy to begin the outreach immediately and begin turning around the flyers and, getting the food preparations and everything set for this meeting.
I know I could do it, Mr. Chair. Carrie, would you be some staff resources to help us pull this out?
For a community meeting, with the understanding that the item would voting on the item to pass today, not bringing it back.
There's no more question or comment on
I'm sorry, we have a senior luncheon on the 19th that I was forgetting about, but other than that,
We would do this in the evening.
yeah, the evening, yeah. So if we have to do 2 in a day, we'll do 2 in a day.
I like the time that we did the town hall. Was it 5:30 or 6?
5:30, yeah. And
We had a big turnout.
not to repeat past mistakes, but in terms of translators, it'd be really great to see if we have an in-house translator in the county, and if not, we'll work on securing one professionally as soon as possible.
Chair, that's a big point. Town hall, December, it would have been over in about an hour and 15 minutes, but we went roughly 3 hours because everything we said in English, we had to stop and have translated in Spanish on the spot. And so, as Miguel suggested, lifetime.
Yeah, live
time,
translators.
Interpreter. So we need the headphones. We need all that. Because I don't want to get in trouble again. I got a lot of flack last time. But I haven't.
Carrie, you got a note of that?
Yeah, we'll work with Waste Management, see if they can provide that resource.
Okay. All right. We're going to proceed to a vote unless anybody has any more comments. Miguel, you're cut off.
Oh.
I forgot. No. All right. So Supervisor Verboen has a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Supervisor Neves, Madam Clerk.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Spread the word, Miguel. Let folks know we're coming.
I'm on it.
Okay.
And thank you guys.
Thank you, sir. Madam CEO, I won't forget you today. Sometimes I forget, but
Board announcements.
yes. Board announcements.
Finally remembered her. You forgot about that.
We'll start off Supervisor Neves.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. March 3rd, attended the first 5 finance meeting, planning the future of the first 5 with the declining revenue environment.
March 4th, attended the local planning committee partnership breakfast held in Lemoore. The United 211 United Way 211 system and the home visitation programs were presented to the group, and they plan on meeting quarterly to share information. Also on March 4th, traveled to Fresno to attend the Calviva Public Policy Committee. That committee reviews all of the audits, complaints, updates on programs, and enrollment were all reviewed. That was also the day that they canceled the air show and the Meet the Blues events that had been announced in Lemoore, and so that's all been placed on hold. Kathy and I participated in the Read Across America on Friday, March 6th at Acres School. Security at Lemoore Naval Air Station was at a high level, and we weren't really sure we were going to be able to get on the base, but things were a little bit time consuming, but well worth the effort, and certainly want to thank them. And then on Saturday, Lemoore Elementary Band Concert and Breakfast was held at Liberty School. We had a great crew, Eddie Rodriguez, Greg Martella, Jim Kilner, along with band boosters, and prepared pancakes and scrambled eggs for about 1,000 students, parents, and guests. The attendance was down a little bit because it was also the same day as Lemoore Little League opening ceremonies and the high school band competition. So we had a lot of things going on in the community, but still yet it turned out to be a beautiful day. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Supervisor Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's good to be back. My apologies for missing last Tuesday. You can blame United Airlines for that. Never been on an airplane where they had to change flat tire. And anyway, it just delayed us getting home. And so we missed a connection flight in Denver and spent the night in Denver. And I would just recommend also not flying in shorts and flip-flops if you happen to land in Denver and then have to find a hotel because it was cold. Anyway, aside from that, the week prior to that, and I'm sure you guys have heard mentioned that the week before, that was out in Washington, D.C. for NACO. It was my first time out there. Want to kind of see how this could fit into, you know, my position on this board, and it was an incredible opportunity, and I'm grateful for the county for doing that. There was a lot of work to be done. There's obviously a lot of work that takes place, you know, through the legislative process. But nevertheless, after leaving NACO, my wife and I flew down to Tampa, Florida for my nephew Asher's wedding. So congratulations to him and Brittany. That's where we spent the weekend. And then let's see here. Wanted to kind of throw this out. And I talked to Carrie about it this morning, and just that I think next week the student government. So last year's student in government, I was reached out by a young lady that participated in that here. Her name's Alexis. Had lunch with her out here in the multi-purpose room, and, you know, just kind of asking questions of what's going on in her life. And, you know, young lady from Home Gardens that got accepted to UCLA and wants to be an attorney. And anyway, a few weeks ago, she reached out to me just out of the blue. I gave her my card and was like, hey, you know, give me a life update and something. And she did. And she and I Zoomed together for about an hour and making great progress at UCLA. But had it not been for the county hosting this, and I just say that to any of our employees that are listening to this too, that impact that you can pour into these kids, I didn't do anything special. I just asked questions and gave a business card to see if there was ever something that we could do. And anyway, talking with Sarah Hacker this morning, she has an internship as well, as I know the county is going to be pushing one. And so I connected Alexis this morning with DA Hacker to just continue pouring into our kids. And I know she's down in your constituency, their Supervisor Valley, but nevertheless, just a good thing about us hosting youth in government. Again, spoke to when we were doing our Women of the Year that September is Childhood Cancer Awareness, and it would be great if this board could consider a resolution that month, maybe a black and gold. And Emily's not the only one that has suffered through childhood cancer. I know that we have other friends in our family that have too. And then lastly, just a shout out to my brother-in-law, Tim Price. He's being named this year's Excellence in Education for Kings River Hardwood School. He's been a second grade teacher out there for, I guess, about the better part of 30 years. And, you know, a lot of people don't know that we're related. Sometimes I'll accept them, sometimes I won't. But anyway, I just wanted to use this dais to just congratulate them. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Supervisor Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to congratulate to you, Mr. Chairman, and Super Boone on the reelection about having a polling share, and that's a pretty big deal. Just don't let it go to your head. No, I'm sorry. That congratulations on that. And the two things I want to point out. I want to thank our county firefighters for their efforts in Avenel this Saturday morning. You may have heard there was 2 house fires, 2 structures at a complete loss, and there's a lot of people that are dislocated, and so there's a lot of people helping. On top of county firefighters, it was a number of other fire agencies, including the state institution out there. They sent their resources as well. The city's working to help those families that are dislocated along with the Red Cross. But that was a lot of work our firefighters woke up to Saturday morning. I think I saw another picture on social media of another house on fire either yesterday or the day before. So I don't know what's going on over that way. One of the homes that was burned down was an abandoned home. I understand the community's complained about some homeless folks that were there. I know the chief has updated us, said, the investigators are taking a look at it and to see what started the fire. But unfortunately, the abandoned home that caught fire got so hot it jumped over and got in the attic of the home next door that had a family there with about 6 people, 2 being teenagers that were in the home, and that home is gone. And luckily, everybody got out alive. But thank you to everyone who responded to that emergency. And then lastly, I forgot to mention earlier, but please let all your honorees know that the pictures that were taken here today, my son Kobe took some photos that he's back home working on right now. And I already got it approved with the producer of KPH Great Day. And so tomorrow morning at 7:20 for my monthly segment, it's going to be about all your honorees. And so we'll have that nice photo of you, the honorees, that will be emailing to the producer this afternoon. So if you get a chance, let your honorees know. It should be about 7:20 a.m. Yes, sir.
Very cool. Very cool. Supervisor Rubin.
Thank you. Last week, we had our legislative platform trip called Valley Voice. We traveled to Sacramento and talked to our legislators. This is from Association of Governments, Terry King, and I'm the representative on that one. So we spoke to, it was a one-day trip. So I spoke with Senator Stan Ellis, Assemblymember Stan Ellis, Senator Dave Cortese, Assemblymember Ali Macedo, Shannon Grove, Senator Melissa Hurtado. We had lunch with Lori Wilson, the Chair Assembly of Transportation Committee, also with Tokes Almashaken, the Secretary of Transportation as well. I sat at my table, Jasmeet Baines, Senator Jasmeet Baines, also Esmeralda Soria, Assemblymember Rodesha Ransom from San Joaquin County, and also Jerry McNerney. It was also Juan Alana, so the last guy we had. So intense day, 8 counties, and so we had a good trip, talked about transportation, and we had, out of the whole group, there was 4 speakers, and I was one of them. So had a good job. Thanks.
Thank you, Supervisor. For me, I didn't realize that I didn't have a competitor until about 5 o'clock on Friday, so I've been spending a lot of time putting out signs. I'm glad I'll have to do a lot less of that. Also, I just want to give a shout out to Congressman Fong. One of the pitches we made when we went back to DC was about the headgates of Pine Flat Dam, and also increased LIDAR funding so that they could increase the flights so that we could see what the snowpack level's like. And he just made that pitch to the Army Corps of Engineers. And so we're grateful to his efforts. So, Madam CEO.
Yes, thank you. So the board received correspondence dated February 25th from the Consolidated Mosquito Abatement District regarding a notice of intent to apply for public health pesticides for vector control purposes for surface waters. And lastly, the board received reports from our finance department, all related to January 2026 monthly fund balance report, treasury report, cash investments, and investment pool portfolio management summary. For upcoming events, Kings County Library will host its movie time at the library tomorrow, Wednesday, March 11th at 1 p.m. at the Kettleman City Branch. Kings County Library will host its Cup of Joe and Conversation with Veterans this Saturday, March 14th at 9:30 a.m. in the Corcoran Branch Library. And then next week is our Youth in County Government Day that will start at 8 a.m. We do have all high schools participating. And upcoming agenda items, the following agenda items are for March 17th. The administration has 2 items, a MOU with the Regional Jail Medical Feasibility Study, a Youth in County Government Day. CDA has 2 items on William Act program re-enrollments. Elections has 1 item on a HAVA enhanced election technology and improvements to election security grant, funding. And Public Works has 1 item on the Houston Avenue Cross Creek Bridge Replacement Program. And that concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Madam Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For closed session today, item 1 is being removed. Item 2, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Mendez v. Corcoran Branch Library. I'll turn it back to you for public comment.
Okay. Do we have any public comments? All right, very good. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjourn into closed session, but we will be back. Well, let's see, shortly, because we have California Public Finance Authority meeting, and we also have California Community Housing Agency meeting. So we will adjourn now, 11:06.